live in a major metropolitan area, we want to have a kind of just a general conversation around whether it makes sense to buy or rent. What are different factors you want to look into, especially if you plan on making an investment property down the line, and just kind of have a generic conversation around this topic. So, first off, reasons why you would want to buy, especially in a major metropolitan area. You know you're going to be in the same area for a while, especially when you're looking at from a cost perspective. If you're planning on moving around to different areas within that city, or you don't know if you're going to be there for a while, you do want to keep in mind that there is at least, a 6% cost to realtors when you're selling, taxes, different financial obligations that go into that. So if you're not buying it at an absolute steal and you're planning on moving around, it could not make sense. Plus changes in interest rates, different things to factor in when you're looking at that, especially if you live in a major metropolitan area. It may be difficult to sell quicker depending on the neighborhood and those types of things. Other things you may want to consider is positive sides to it. If you are planning on looking in an area that's still developing, maybe you living there for a couple of years, you're able to fix it up a little bit, the market's drastically appreciating, there's some good natural resources or developments coming into the area that are going to make it grow. You're able to buy something low, watch the neighborhood appreciate. Those are different things that make it good to buy during those types of neighborhoods. There's other investors that have the school of thought that, I will buy investment properties in the areas of the cities that are developing, and then where I personally live, I will rent. That's not necessarily a bad idea either. In areas that sometimes are the most desirable within center cities or the most attractive neighborhoods, odds are those areas of ours already massively appreciated, and the costs are probably more than some of those first time home buying neighborhoods. So if you buy in there, odds are you're not going to make money, especially if you're looking at making it a rental down the road, because your spread between purchase and what your monthly payment, interest, taxes, insurance is, and what you're going to be renting it out for aren't going to give you enough spread to make it worth it. So what a lot of people will do is, including myself, is they will rent in the highly desirable neighborhoods, because again, those mortgages for those individuals that hold those investment properties, they bought 10, 15, 20 years ago, where those payments that they're able to, or those rents that they're able to charge, are much less than what you would have to charge if you were able to purchase in that area and rent today. So again, what's nice is sometimes there's tax incentives to buy in some of these developing areas. There are different incentives from sellers. You're able to get much less value, and even doing some fine tune-ups there, you're able to get a large appreciation. But again, it really comes down to your goals, how long you're wanting to stay in a certain neighborhood, and how maybe long you're willing to stay in a neighborhood to account for those types of appreciations. Now, one thing we want to consider is, when we are turning it to an investment property, looking at those neighborhoods for what is the max renting we can get from that area. Sometimes we want to put all the bells and whistles into a property, and if the max rent in that area is $1,000, and the way the property looks right now, you're able to get $1,000, you may not need to fix it up, put $50,000 into it just to get an extra $100. You're never going to break even on something like that. So those are different things we want to think about when we're looking at the buy versus rent conversation, when we're looking in a metropolitan area. That's just part of our series on this, but just things to think about, conversations to have, and stuff to kind of familiarize yourself when it comes to that.